available DVD locations.
This movie is excellent on every level possible.
This is a beautiful movie with great performances in it.
Images from this film stay in my mind.
I think it's just almost like a perfect movie.
It is definitely an essential.
The Ghost and Mrs. Muir, 1947. This movie certainly has the Joseph Mankiewicz touch.
Rex Harrison, who plays this crusty, curmudgeon guy, but through his eyes, you just see how much he loves her.
I have to say, in my book, Gene Tierney can do no wrong.
This ranks as one of the most romantic movies ever made.
You seem to be very earthly for a spirit.
And you, madam, are enough to make a saint take to blasphemy. Blasted women. Always make trouble when you allow one aboard.
Captain Gregg, if you insist on haunting me, you might at least be more agreeable about it.
The Ghost and Mrs. Muir, I think, is a really underrated film. I have to go on record as saying I'm a great, great Gene Tierney fan.
Yes.
She can do no wrong. I love her face. I love her, everything about her. I know she's not the greatest actress that was ever in film, but she didn't do dishonest line readings. She was very honest in what she said. And this was her first film after The Razor's Edge, which
yeah.
was a totally different kind of character.
Totally.
And I think she's just mesmerizing to watch.
Yes. I love this film. I just love.
I'm so glad you do.
Love this film since I was a little girl. I loved this film, you know, when I would watch it on TV. And I don't have a lot of sophisticated reasons why I love this movie. I can't say it's the most complicated story or character development, or it's not the most, you know, interesting display of acting, even though I think it's beautifully done by the actors. I think Rex Harrison's performance in it is just wonderful, because he's so terrible and crusty, and yet his eyes show something else, you know, and he looks at her. They don't ever kiss, they don't ever touch, but you feel how much he loves her.
Real happiness is worth almost any risk. But be careful. There may be breakers ahead.
And we have to give a lot of credit to the director, Joseph Mankiewicz.
Yes, we certainly
do.
do.
For his touch.
He was certainly good with women.
Yeah.
And he did a lot of what people would call women's films, but they weren't. They were stories that involved women and women's lives. And I love this movie. And very young Natalie Wood.
And again, as we have to say, Gene Tierney cast so against type for her at that time. You know, she had played Laura and a businesswoman. And then she did Leave Her to Heaven, very strong.
Yes, very strong, yes.
And here she plays a very gentle woman.
Yes.
Very kind woman.
Very
compassionate.
Of the time, probably early turn of the century it's supposed to be.
You must have been a horrid little boy.
I suppose you were a model of all the virtues when you were 12.
Certainly I was. I won a prize for deportment at school.
I'm so glad you like this. I was afraid you might not like this movie so much.
No. Oh, my. Again, it's of the most romantic movies ever.
Yes. Well, let's have a look. Here it is, the film with Gene Tierney. What was a very different kind of role for her, but as always looking gorgeous. Beautifully photographed by Charles Lang Jr. From 1947, The Ghost and Mrs. Muir.